What's up? I'm Wally. Movies have been a little bit slow this week. I thought that it might be interesting to show you guys some of my physical media collection. Now, I have ADHD, and for those that don't know, the H stands for holy shit, I love buying stuff. Now, this fat stack of items that you see behind me are not all movie adjacent, but I think that you'll still find them pretty cool. I know this probably goes without saying, but none of this stuff is an ad. I literally have 19 subscribers at the time of recording this video, so everything here I purchased with my own money. Starting off, we'll talk about some Japanese horror pickups. I'll begin with Pulse. I've seen this one a couple times, and I think that it is a masterclass in tension building and subtle horror. There's so many scenes in this film that were designed, choreographed, performed extremely well. There's a particular scene in this movie that, while on paper isn't extremely scary, it had me shaking physically at how creepy it was. If you know, you know. The next movie in this Japanese horror haul is Ringu. Obviously, this is a classic, and there's an American version that I saw a long time ago when I was much younger, but I have not yet seen the original Japanese version, so I'm excited to watch this. This is the 4K UHD version as well. And lastly, I have Audition. Now, I've heard that this iteration of the film is not the best quality just because the source material isn't the best quality. But I mean, I've seen movies like Sean Baker's Tangerine and loved it. So I can imagine that if the story is good, I'm going to enjoy this one as well. Now, speaking of Sean Baker, I have a couple of his Criterion releases. So to start off, Anora. I've seen this a couple times. I actually saw it in theaters. This is absolutely Sean Baker's masterpiece. Everything that Sean Baker had worked on up to this point came to fruition in this movie. I think it had such a good combination of comedy and drama elements. It just gelled so well, flowed perfectly, and was so emotional, especially towards the end. I just knew that I had to own this on Blu-ray. Now, I'm a huge Sean Baker fan, and I've seen most of his movies, but one of them that I have not seen is Prince of Broadway. This is one of his earlier films. I did go around and watch Takeout finally, which was amazing. I mean, Sean Baker has such a way of telling human stories. As someone who practices art, I think that the way Sean Baker tells the human story is so inspiring, and I hope one day to be able to emulate that same kind of feeling in my own art. But I'm very, very excited to finally check this out. Now, earlier I mentioned Tangerine and Audition being kind of poor quality movies visually. Another one that kind of fits that mold is 28 Days Later. I did want to point out that on the bottom of this copy, it says Beyond High Definition. No. This movie was shot on a standard definition mini DV camera. So even though it says 1080p, I mean, I know for a fact that any copy of this movie is going to look terrible on modern 4K TVs. But a family friend of ours was giving this away for free, and I said, well, I love this movie, so I have to have it. Moving on to some non-movie related items, I do have a TV show related item that I wanted to show off. This was a crazy Goodwill find. It's the Sopranos Family Cookbook. This book is really cool because it's like narrated by the character Artie Bucco. It's got recipes for all of the Italian classics like lasagna and baked ziti. It's got amazing photos of the cast and stories from the production. This was a crazy Goodwill find, and I'm so glad that I found it. Now, this next book is photography related, and for those that don't know, I actually am a hobbyist photographer myself. I went to a half price books and found this on the shelf for a not so half price. I paid $40 for The Americans by Robert Frank. This is considered one of the kind of must-have photo books, especially for like street photographers. I'm trying my best to put myself out there and get comfortable with doing street photography. Now, I'm still not at the level of someone like Robert Frank, but hopefully having a book like this can really inspire me to continue working towards reaching this level. Now, speaking of photography, a little shameless self-plug here. I do love printing my own work. These are prints from the company called MPix, MPIX. These are their Gickley, I believe it's pronounced, fine art prints, and the quality on them is just incredible and so detailed, and it's got a nice matte finish. I hate anything glossy, so these are perfect for medium to large prints. For anybody interested, I have an Instagram account for my photography, so feel free to follow me there if you care for photography. And finally, the last item I wanted to show off is a Fontaines DC romance vinyl. I have a collection of over 100 vinyl records records, and YouTube does a really good job of recommending music to me. And Fontaines DC I had never heard about before, but when I saw their Starburster music video, I was immediately in love with their sound. This was actually back ordered and took a few months to get to me, but I'm really glad to have it in hand, and I'm definitely going to be spinning this soon. So that's just some of the physical media that I own. I do have a lot more Criterion movies, and if you guys are interested in those, definitely let me know. I'd be glad to do a full kind of review of the 20 or so Criterion films I have. I also have some other special edition Blu-rays that I'd love to show you guys. And for the psychos like me, if you guys are interested in seeing someone's 100+ vinyl record collection, definitely let me know in the comments and I'd be glad to accommodate. I think physical media is really important for everybody to own, especially with the direction that streaming is going. You keep hearing these stories of people losing access to stuff that they supposedly purchased, and it's just being ripped away from them because they don't actually own those items. They own a license to watch the item, which can be removed at any time. Now, unless someone comes and physically breaks into my home and takes this from me, this is mine and it will be mine forever. Let me know, what are some of your favorite physical media items that you have, whether it be Blu-rays, DVDs, VHS tapes, vinyls, whatever it might be. I love chatting with people like me who love collecting stuff, and I'm very curious to know what you guys like to collect. For those of you that have watched all the way to the end of this video, I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.